Hello my friends and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to give you guys my drugstore starter kit. So if you guys are just barely starting off with makeup and you go into a drugstore or you're shopping online, like a lot of us are, and you're like, where do I start? These are the products that I would recommend, and I think that they would work for quite a few skin types. I have quite the selection, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on into this video. I will be applying it with you guys as well as talking about it. Starting off with face primers, I have 3 different recommendations depending on your skin type or what you want. One of them is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've only tried the original. So this is kind of like my one and done primer that I can use. It like smooths out the skin and kind of fills in the pores. That's why I like this primer the most, and I usually take like the back of tweezers and scoop it out. I don't like to use my fingers in there. And the second primer, well, I kind of use these next to in conjunction with each other. If you've seen any of my drugstore videos, you've probably heard me talk about these. So the Wet n Wild Water Drop Primer, they have about 3 different scents. I really like the rose one, but if you are sensitive to fragrance, I don't really recommend this. And then the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer. I use this more with my larger pores. I just press it in. If you don't really have large pores, then I would say just stick with this e.l.f. one, or just go for the Wet n Wild one. Mix and match these. Today I am going to just throw on the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer on my skin, and I use this all over. I take like a pea-sized amount, maybe like half a pea, and I mostly like focus it in my T-zone. And I did get sunburned. Always wear SPF and reapply it. That's like the biggest thing. I thought I'd be okay because all I did was I thought I'd be wearing a hat the entire time. Nope. That's why my forehead is really burnt. Before you even go in with makeup, I suggest having a good skincare routine. This video is just mostly focusing on makeup, but if you guys want me to do a skincare, like a drugstore skincare video to this, then let me know. Just because like I feel like skincare is the most important. If you don't have good skincare, the makeup won't look good. Foundation. Again, I have 3 different options depending on where you're at or what kind of vibe you're going for. If you want something quick and easy, I would say the Wet n Wild Stick Foundation. I literally can just apply this and then take a brush and just buff it in, and it gives a really natural finish. I'm able to like wear it all day long. Can blend it in with a sponge or a brush. I prefer the brush method just because it's super quick and easy. So when I'm running out the door, this is one of my go-to foundations. And then the other 2 are liquid foundations. One, Maybelline 24-Hour Super Stay. I really like the color range in Maybelline's foundations. Everyone raves about the Fit Me Matte and Poreless one. I prefer this foundation, but I mix a lot of my foundations just to get like the right consistency. The sun keeps going in and out behind the clouds. Sorry about that. But this is like my perfect shade. For today, I'm going to be using this foundation. You can get this foundation at Ulta or LA Girl's website. I recently duped this foundation in my recent testing makeup dupes. So if you guys want to see more awesome drugstore products, go check out that video. But this is the foundation I'm using today, the LA Girl Pro Coverage Concealer, Pro Coverage HD foundation. Now the shades on this, not the best, but it gives a flawless finish and it covers up everything. And I like to apply this with a sponge, and I have a few favorite sponges. One being this Real Technique sponge. I love this. It is kind of like on the pricier end of like drugstore sponges. I really like the flat side of it, and I'll tell you guys why in just a minute. Also the Wet n Wild sponge, another great sponge, or the Aesthetic sponge. I get mine on Amazon. I'm just gonna apply the foundation with like the pointy end of the sponge. It does kind of have a scent to it, but it goes away. And I am kind of breaking out at the current moment, so some things may not apply the best because they're like the zits where you're like, these hurt. They're like under the skin. And if you want to, you can also take like a full coverage foundation and you can dilute it with your moisturizer and create your own like BB/CC cream. That way, if you don't need a whole lot of coverage. Concealer, again, I have 3 different concealers. 1 for more glam day and 2 for like just quick on the go, gotta get out the door. My more glam concealer, the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I believe they changed the name on this, but it's still the same formula. I just really like this because I get good coverage while it not looking cakey or drying. All of these products aren't cakey or drying because you want like a skin-like finish. The next one, Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This is like a cult classic everywhere. I really like this because I can just like apply it like foundation and blend it out with a sponge or a brush, and I can control the coverage and everything. I really like this. As well as this, it kind of dries down to a matte finish, and I can actually wear this without any powder. The Kokie Vibre Illuminating Concealer. It's kind of like a thinner concealer, but I am going to be using the ColourPop concealer. I'm going to use it in the center of my face just because it is of a lighter color to balance this out. And another good tip when you're just starting out is try to find your undertones and skin color range. For me, I go for a light, like a fair to light, mostly light, warm, like a light skin tone with warm undertones. And that's how I can choose a lot of foundations online, or if you know your perfect shade in one foundation, you can search up Shade Finder and you'll most likely find your shade that closely represents. Now for powder, I have narrowed it down to one specific powder, and that is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I was gonna add a separate one, but this I think I prefer more, and they do have different shades in this. It doesn't have any flashback, and it like just smooths out your skin and sets everything. And I use my sponge literally for so much, so getting a sponge that you like and that works well is a big game changer, because I use it to blend everything in and set everything. Use the pointy side for small little crevices in my nose. I use it under my eyes, and I just take like the tiniest bit and just really press it into the skin. I feel like the more that you press products into your skin, the more it just meshes with your skin and won't be as noticeable on the skin. We'll go into brows next. Now, you may not need to fill in your brows, but my brows need to be filled in because they're kind of just like all over the place. And with me, filling in my brows gives them more shape, and eyebrows can really make or break your face shape and your makeup look, but just play around with it. You can either go in with a clear brow gel if you just want to tame them a little bit, don't add any color. Really, any gel, like clear brow mascara works. Or if you want to add, if you want like a tinted brow gel, I really like the e.l.f. Wow Brow. Love this. Come in a lot of shades. If you want more of like a pomade, I really like the e.l.f. Brow Liner Cream because it stays super malleable. Doesn't really dry up. But the one that I'm going to use today is my favorite brow product probably ever, and that's the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I don't know how many I've gone through these, but nothing beats it in my opinion because it's super creamy, and I just follow the natural shape of my brow. There's literally no right or wrong way to doing your makeup. Some days you'll have good brow days, and some days you'll be like, what did I do? The brows are not my friends today, and they're more like evil step cousins than anything today. I'm going to try to fix these with our eyeshadow primer. Now, If you're just starting out, just use concealer and set it with some powder as your eyeshadow base. You're gonna get the same effect. That's what I did when I started out with everything. But I do have some recommendations if you are looking for something. Two are from Makeup Revolution, the Prime and Lock eyeshadow primer or the cut crease canvas. This is more if you want like concealer type. This is kind of like, it is kind of tinted, but it's also just like a regular eyeshadow primer. Or the J-Cat Beauty, it's kind of like if these two had a baby, this is good. Or if you want something in a pot, it's a little more drying. The e.l.f. Putty Primer, they have a bunch of different shades. I am going to use the cut crease base today. And I just kind of put it on the back of my hand and then brush it on. And I work one eye at a time. And then I go back in with our base powder and set that. For me at least, it will crease. Now that we have everything, just have like our base done, so I'm gonna add some dimension and some fun to this look. I asked you guys on my Instagram, I put up a poll on my story asking if you guys wanted a simple drugstore look or a glam drugstore look. 3 hours ago I posted it and glam won. So we're gonna do a glam look. If you guys want a simple drugstore look, let me know and I'll do that. I am kind of inspired by, I forget their username, I'll put it up on the screen, and the look, but it's more like a gold yellow eye with like a blue smoked out lower lash line. So that's what we're gonna do. But first, let me tell you guys of the palettes that I would recommend. First, these eyeshadows from e.l.f. Yes, they have so many different color stories. I only have 2 of them, the more neutral. These are the bite-sized eyeshadow palettes and they are $3 each. Probably the cheapest eyeshadow palettes you will ever find anywhere. They're gorgeous and they're super tiny. Now if you guys are wanting some more vibrant colors, if you guys want to play with colors and don't want to really break the bank, then this is the eyeshadow palette. I wouldn't expect like a whole bunch of color payoff, but the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette, the Brights one, you want to play with color and don't want to break the bank. Even though this is an $18 palette, do recommend it because they are easy to blend and you can practice like building up color. And then if you guys want some other different like shadow palettes, the Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes, the Reloaded, these are $8 each. I'm obsessed and I recently did this eyeshadow palette, the Velvet Rose one. We're going to use a mixture of like all 3 of these that we can see them all in action. I'm going to first go in with the Revolution palette in the shade Division. I love this and I'm going to take this like mustard yellow and start buffing that into my crease. And again, like a lot of drugstore eyeshadow palettes, you do have to build up the color and work a little bit more. There are still some, these are still really great eyeshadow palettes and you won't be like so intimidated because it's so simple. There's a purple, there's a few purples in this palette that would be gorgeous. And so if you just want to use this palette, I would take the purple on the lower lash line or green and just have this yellow blown out all over. Deepen it up with an orange. I'm now going to go into the NYX palette and take this orangish yellowish shade on a smaller crease brush and start deepening up or just adding a little more dimension to the crease but not as high up. If you want me to do a full dedicated eye look on one of these palettes, let me know when I can. For the gold, I'm going in the Velvet Rose palette. I'm taking this gold right up here and I'm going to pat that all over my eyelid. And to get it even more intense, more of a foiled look, I'm going to spray my brush. I don't have a like go-to drugstore facial mist setting spray. Using this Morphe one. If you have some eye drops, use some eye drops. You can go in with some water. This is just what I have right next to me. See, this is a gold, and the spray just like helped intensify it. And with the yellow underneath, it just really brings out the yellow in this gold. And going back in just to blend it up. Now for the blue, I'm going to go into the Carnival Candy bite-sized eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to take this blue. I'm just going to buff that along my lower lash line. And I kind of extended it kind of like a little wing. Look a little crazy. I'm going with mixture of these two blues in the NYX palette and just buff that out. Kind of a dramatic look, not gonna lie, for a drugstore glam, but hey, it's fine. I'm gonna apply some mascara. Now, 2 recommendations for mascara. Essence Lash Princess, great for lengthening your lashes, as well as the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara, great for volumizing and lengthening. I am gonna do a mixture of the two, but you can do one or the other, you can do both. We do kind of look crazier right now, but we haven't added any like face defining features, so let's do that. So bronzer, 3 different recommendations. 1, the Revolution Mega Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Cool, super pigmented. Next, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, a cult classic. It blends like butter, a little more on the warmer side. And then the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. It's like a good mix between the two. I am going to be using the e.l.f. one today. This will just bring some more warmth back to our skin, as well as make it so that we don't look so two-dimensional. And don't forget to go down your neck so that you don't look like you have orange face. For blush, I haven't really explored a whole lot of drugstore blushes, but one that I do like is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush. I have mine in the shade Always Rosy. It's super pigmented, a little goes a long way. I'm going to use a longer hair brush for this just because of how pigmented it is. And where you apply it all depends on your personal preference as well as face shape. Just like I'm obsessed with e.l.f. products for brows, I'm obsessed with Wet n Wild for highlighters. Their loose highlighter in I'm So Lit, gorgeous. Gorgeous. And then their Mega Glow highlighters, I have 3 shades. This is my newest one, just why I haven't hit pan, but like, love these. I'm going to use Golden Flower Crown to highlight literally everywhere, and I always spray my brush. I literally apply it all over my face. I don't think there's like one spot that I don't hit, because I love to be a glowing goddess. Like, don't forget those inner corners. I like to use a smaller brush, and I may go in with a different shade as well, but just a pop-in inner corner highlight. And the finer the brush, the more intense it'll be. Like that brow bone. I am gonna go fix my hair, pop on some lashes. I don't know which lashes I'm gonna put on. My favorite brands of lashes, if you do want to apply it, are Salon Perfect and Ardell. Those are my 2 favorite drugstore brands for lashes. I'm gonna pop on some lashes, fix my hair, and I'll be back to finish everything off. Hair is done, lashes are on. Time to finish off this look. Lip liners. I have 2 different lip liners that I would recommend. One is the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner. I really like these. They are a wooden pencil, so you will have to get a sharpener to sharpen them, but they are a really great liner. The one that I am going to use today is the Maybelline Color Sensational Shaping Lip Pencil in the shade Dusty Rose. I love this. It is a retractable lip liner, so it is super simple and you don't need a sharpener. This is super creamy, and a lot of times if I'm just running out the door, I'll just apply a lip liner plus lip balm and you're good to go. Now for lipsticks, I have quite a few different options. I have two different liquid lipstick formula. One I'm obsessed with, the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Lip Color. I have a few of these. I think I only have two, but they're really great and I like them a lot. They're more of like a creamy liquid lipstick, whereas this one is a little more drying. It's the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick. I'm going to actually swatch these. I picked all nudes just because I knew I was going to go for either the look I am wearing right now or like a simple everyday look. They are very similar in color. This one's the Rimmel one and this one's the Wet n Wild one. And then I have three different lipstick formulations. One, the Wet n Wild Mega Last lipsticks, the matte ones. This one's in the shade Bare It All. I love this. The L'Oreal matte lipsticks are amazing. It's not my favorite shade, but it is a really great shade. It's a really good formula. And then the Collab full body lipstick, specifically the matte formulation. It's gorgeous. And today I'm going to go for the Wet n Wild stick formulation in the shade Bare It All. These are all super comfortable formulas, so they won't be like drying and you're like, get this off my lips. And now I have two different gloss formulas. My favorite clear gloss of all time is the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Gloss. This is a cult classic in the beauty community. Absolutely love this. And then I've recently fallen in love with the e.l.f. lip lacquers. This is the only one that I currently have. I'm going to actually use this one. This one's in the shade Wild Rose. But it just kind of like almost gives like a filter to your lips and smooths out any lip lines because everyone has lip lines. Can you guys believe that we created this look with just drugstore products? Like, I'm obsessed with all of these products. You have no idea. But these are the products that I recommend, and if you're just going to the drugstore, or like you're just barely starting off with makeup and you're like, I don't know where to start, hopefully one or a few of these products will work for you. If you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel or give a thumbs up or both. If you guys have any video requests, you can leave them in the comments down below or at me on my social media, which is all under SassyMaddieYT, same as spelled here, both Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go follow me there and let me know if you want me to do any other drugstore videos and what drugstore videos you want, because I'll be happy to do those. I'll leave a drugstore video of me using all the least expensive makeup that I own, so that way you guys can get some more if you're rolling on more of a budget. That's a good video to check out. I'll leave that linked at the end of the video, as well as my last video. And yeah, with all that being said, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.